This video is of me making this 16-inch Lazy Susan for my mom. It is made out of walnut from the farm. My dad had a walnut tree that was coming down up on the hill, and so he cut it down, and then we were able to salvage some pieces and use on this Lazy Susan. I also used the Maker Epoxy, the Total Boat epoxy, in order to layer up for the pool in the middle as well as the finish. Hope you enjoy. One of the 4 quarters had a bark area with a cool pattern, so I wanted to repeat that pattern in the other 3 quarters in order to create the middle pool. I used the Arbortech Turbo Plane to power carve the patterns. After gluing up the 4 quadrants, I power carved the middle pool out so that the pattern runs more consistently. I wanted the epoxy to also run along the glue ups, so I power carved along those rows for a channel for the epoxy. I used Maker Epoxy by Total Boat to fill the middle pool as well as the channels. The first layer of epoxy was tinted with black diamond pigment hazelnut color. After the layer of hazelnut epoxy dried, I added a layer of tinted Ghost Blue Pearl epoxy. The third layer and final layer in the pool and channels was a clear layer of epoxy. I like to use the disposable syringes in order to measure out the 1-to-1 ratio for the epoxy. I also prefer to use the syringes in order to distribute the epoxy because I can be a very messy maker. So the syringe keeps it controlled as far as how much I'm pouring out as well as where it's going. The heat gun helps distribute the epoxy around as well as works the bubbles out. Circle jig attached to the back of the Lazy Susan. I normally would just send a nail directly into the back of the piece. However, that's epoxy in the center, so I put a piece of, I hot glued a piece of scrap wood with a nail, and then I'm going to center that on there. And then I had to add a little lift with that, and then a little lift with that. Seems like with most things maker related, it's slow and steady wins the race. And that's definitely the case with using the circle jig with the router. Going a number of passes at very small increments seems to be the safest and most productive approach. I also found it very helpful that once I got really close to finishing the cut, I would add a piece of MDF or some sacrificial piece between the workbench and what I'm cutting. After some sanding, I used a clear coat of Maker Epoxy for the full finish on the Lazy Susan.